Hello,
Hi,
Solomon. I'm Indy. Welcome
Indy.
to Sleep Deprived.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Now,
You're
I'm a little bit
welcome.
nervous because you are a therapist, and I have never seen a therapist before, and I've been told that you're going to make me cry. Good luck because you're not getting anything out of me. I do have some napkins, some serviettes in case I do cry.
Yeah.
But I've just never seen a therapist because A, I don't think anything's wrong with me. My husband has told me I should go see someone. And B, it's always been ingrained in me that you kind of have to look or be sick to see a therapist, which I know is so wrong because I've heard therapists are great just to chat, to make you feel less alone,
Yep.
whatever it is. So why do people come and see a therapist?
Well, for a number of reasons. People generally come to see me. The main reason I think is when the pain they're feeling of staying the same is worse than the fear of going to talk to someone and potentially making the change. So for a lot of people, change is scary. For everyone, change is
Yeah.
scary, right?
Yeah.
Which is why we have things like anxiety. It's our body's way of saying maybe something needs to change, but change is scary.
Yeah.
So we stay where we are and we just swallow the pill, whatever that is. We suck it up.
Yeah.
We just keep going through our
churning.
day. We keep churning. We keep churning. We keep churning. We'll see a doctor. We'll get antidepressants. We'll push it down. We'll swallow it. We'll keep going. But eventually, that pain of staying in the same spot gets greater than the fear of actually doing something about it and potentially making a change or saying goodbye to a relationship
Yeah.
or putting in the effort to do the work. And that's when most people will come and see me. Not all. Some people come and see me because they're in a good spot and they just want an edge.
Yeah.
They want an extra edge. They want to elevate their game. Some people come and see me because their relationships are okay, but they're stagnant. They're kind of in a place where they're taking each other for granted, and
Yeah.
it's just stale. Like there's nothing really wrong, but there's nothing really right
Yeah.
either. And they're like, we're noticing that this is going on, and we just thought we'd reach out. So
Yeah.
whole bunch of reasons, but the first one is the main one.
Yeah. I just find it so hard to believe, though. I know this is very maybe naive of me, but how does talking to someone help? That's honestly the last thing I would want to do. Like, I don't want to open up to someone. Like, why do you want to, like, to open up to someone is so fearful to me. How would talking to someone help you?
How does not talking help?
I just don't understand, like, how it would help, though. Like, oh, you're feeling anxious. Okay, well, what's making you feel anxious? Like, how would that better me by telling you how I feel? Do you give the person strategies? Breath work? Like what?
Yeah. So your first question was, how does talking help?
Yeah.
Talking helps in so many different ways. And maybe we can go to the very beginning of, firstly, you're reaching out for help.
Yeah.
And that's such a big step.
Yeah.
So that's an acknowledgement in itself.
Yeah.
I can't manage this on my own anymore. I need someone to walk with me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you're on your own most of the time when you're in this mental space where you're drowning, where you're depressed or you're anxious.
Yeah.
Naturally, we're defensive creatures.
Yeah.
So we don't naturally want to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We think no one will understand. We think our experience is unique to us. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. As humans, we have a shared experience. Generally, if you've felt someone, trust that a million others have had a very similar experience. So whilst you're unique, your experience is a human one. Yeah. So someone will understand. So just making the call and sitting down with someone is huge because you're acknowledging that
There's something wrong.
that something's not right. Next step is getting to your appointment every week.
Yeah.
It's taking that hour out of your day where you're saying, I'm the most important person.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my world right now for this hour. If I've got kids, if I've got whatever, this hour's just for me. How does talking help? How many times in your life have you ever, really, truly felt listened to and understood?
Never. Oh, that's the right answer. Oh, that's so true.
That's how talking helps.
Oh my God, that's a really good question. You are really good at this.
That's how talking
Yeah,
helps.
okay, that really, yeah.
So you can talk and talk and talk to people that don't understand,
Yeah,
and that doesn't help.
that's so true.
You can talk and talk and talk and talk to people, friends, family who are invested in you personally, so they have a strong bias. Doesn't help because they just tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't want to hear that because being told what to do actually amplifies that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, that's so true.
You don't want that amplification. And so we don't speak because we don't want to be told more than what we already know that there's something wrong with us.
Yeah, you just
might
want
tell your
things to
partner.
fix it.
Yeah, you tell your partner, you tell your friends, whatever, and everyone's so quick to give advice. Yeah. And what advice is for your guys out there? Advice is a perspective coming from your own experience, not your experience.
Yeah.
Right? So what I try and do is cut out advice altogether.
Okay.
I don't give advice.
Yeah.
What I do is I listen very carefully.
Yeah.
And I feed back extremely accurately. And they're the two things that I mainly do. And by doing that, the hope is you feel more understood than you ever have in life. And I think if you feel understood and validated and not judged and accepted for that thing that you hide from everybody, if you can sit across from someone and truly feel like, holy shit, this guy not only gets me, but he accepts me, and there's no judgment, and he's not trying to fix me, and he's literally just giving me the space to explore what this could be, how it's come to be. More importantly, how that thing has helped you. Because once upon a time, let's go with anxiety, maybe anxiety's really helped you in the past. It's kept you safe. It's kept you from getting hurt. Yeah. But 5, 6, 10 years on, it's no longer applicable, but we keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so we think no one's going to understand. We shut down, we go internal, and it just becomes a mess. So it's a long way of saying you're asking for help.
And that's the hardest thing. I think that first step. And I probably would have asked for help a long time ago just because I feel like I experience anxiety, but I didn't know. Only recently I found out it's anxiety. I just thought, so every time I would go out, right? I'd be sitting there, something hits me, and I'm like, someone spiked my drink. Someone has literally just come by and spiked my drink. I'd get up, I'll go to the bathroom, I'll leave the venue, I'll go home. Like, I can't. I go fight or flight. I start zoning in and out. I start getting clammy hands. My heart starts pounding. Like, I genuinely feel and tell myself someone spiked my drink because I had no idea that's what anxiety felt like. And that would happen to me all the time. And then I started to realize, I think I have social anxiety because then things would come up and I'd make excuses to my husband. I'm like, no, we can't do that. We've got great grandma Doris's cousin. She's coming over to Ben's like, what? I'm like, no, we can't go. And he says it's always such a fight for me to get somewhere. And then when I'm there, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But getting there, like, I will think of every single excuse not to go to something. And then when I'm there, he's like, see, I just don't understand. You always have such a good time, but we genuinely have a fight to get you here. Yeah. And I'm like, I had no idea that's anxiety until I joined TikTok. And TikTok pretty much fixes all my problems because I have these therapists online and they're like, oh, you're like this because this has happened in your past, or, there's a reason, and it speaks to me because I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
I have so many problems. I didn't know I had so many problems. And I don't know where they stem from, and I don't know what triggers them.
Right.
But I definitely know that when I'm out and about in large crowds, I get clammy hands and my heart starts racing. And then I think someone's drugged me. But that's anxiety, right? Oh, don't tell me it's something else.
No, I think so. Only you.
I'm not being spiked. And I have not been spiked. It's just this fight or flight that I feel, and I'm like, get me out of here.
Well, your body's having a response to the environment, so there's something about that environment that's triggering a response based on some sort of subconscious story you're telling yourself. It's not a conscious thing, so anxiety doesn't work off rationale
Oh,
So
okay.
it's feelings aren't rational
Yeah, right.
either a lot of the time. So feelings can be really helpful or really destructive, depending. Yeah.
Mine are destructive.
Yeah,
They ain't
so-
helping me. They ain't helping
So,
me. I leave the venue. I'm like, see you girls, I know we just got here, but I'm out.
Yeah. And sometimes we'll feel a bunch of things and we'll react to those feelings and then we'll act on those feelings, but we're not really sure where those feelings have come from.
Yeah.
But we're basing our whole reality off a bunch of feelings that we don't know where they came from. We don't know why they're there, what caused them, where's the proof for them. But we'll create an entire existence around those feelings.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten to a point where it's really good because culturally we're told now that our feelings are really important, so that helps people share.
Yeah.
But your feelings aren't the truth.
Yeah. Okay.
Your feelings are your feelings, and they're there to be explored, yeah, and they're there to be asked questions of, not just blindly accepted and run with, yeah. Now, you know, you might have had things happen in your childhood that have created that response in your body, yeah. So there's a real reason why it's there.
Oh, so it doesn't just come about. Does anxiety usually stem from childhood trauma, or
It can do. Yeah, I mean, it can do.
or
a
can
lot
it
of the
just
time.
stem from out of the blue? Like you hit a certain age and you're like, I'm anxious and depressed.
Yeah, it can do.
Really?
It can stem from childhood. It can stem from having an expectation that you haven't met, maybe thinking that you should have been somewhere by now and you're not. That you maybe thought that you'd hit a certain goal and you haven't hit it. I get that a lot. I thought I would have been here by now and there by now. I feel like I'm a failure, and there might be certain things that trigger off that response in your body, which is anxiety is a fear response, an excitement response. We get anxious. We get anxious when we're excited, and we get anxious when also we're under threat. So anxiety is a funny one because you can get really anxious when you step into the unknown and you're going to make a big change. So, for instance, I don't do any of this sort of stuff.
No. Were you anxious?
Yes.
Oh my God, that makes me feel so much better.
So that's right, because anxiety can come when you're doing something exciting as well.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So this for me is exciting because my relationship with social media is non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm really uncomfortable in this space. I don't interact with it. I've never needed it.
Yeah.
I come from a different era. Like I can talk to
Yeah.
a room of 1,000 people with no problem. Yeah.
Really?
No problem.
So do you think social media has made our society more anxious? Because I feel like every second person has anxiety or depression.
I don't know. I mean, anxiety's always been around.
Yeah.
I think social media has positives and negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great for promoting business and connecting with friends and, being able to share your life. But what we put on social media and the comparisons and the judgments and the keeping up with the Joneses and the needing to be seen to be something that you're not, and the fear of being caught out if you're not that thing, and everything that comes with that, it's crippling. I mean, I work a lot with people that are in the social media space, so I see it.
Yeah.
The pressure of expectation to be of a level, the hate that you get if I've seen
quite a few followers,
quite
a few people that love me, quite a few that hate me.
That hate you, and that's the game of being in the public. That was the sphere of actors and politicians. Now it's everyday people that have got something interesting to say that people want to hear, and it shoots them through the roof. Now all of a sudden you got 500,000 followers, and people are coming for your throat.
And I don't think we're programmed to have that many opinions to come at us and hatred. Like I actually don't think my brain.
That's a great point, Indy. Actually.
Yeah,
it's a great point.
I just don't think my brain can, just captivate all these people's opinions. Like, I don't think I can process it. So
Yeah.
when they come at me, I definitely feel like I'm like, the anxiety strikes. And then my husband will be like, what's going on? Like, have you received a comment, or what's like your mood's changed? Like, he can tell as soon as my mood changes. And it's not like I'm angrier. It's kind of like I'm just on edge. I'm shaky a bit. Like, it's like when you have too much caffeine. And I definitely think social media has played a huge part in not just mine, but the younger generation, their anxiety, depression. There's so many mental illnesses these days. And I don't know if it's because the comparisons on social media to hundreds of thousands of people out there. It's not normal.
No, I don't think you're right. It's such a great point. We're not designed to deal with massive amounts of criticism.
Yeah.
So when you've got those hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, you know, we're not wired to
No, we're not wired.
We're not wired to be able to
Your
cope
brain
with
goes
that
to overdrive.
Overdrive, and then the overthinking, and then why does this person think that about me, and how can I change their mind? And I mean, I'm not talking from experience here, but I imagine that would be the case for a lot of you guys, having to deal with that. You know, we can deal with the criticism in most part of the circle that we keep in our lives, you know, because that's what we've done for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
But the criticism of, and it's also popularity, you know,
it's like
and the more popular you get, the more people want to see you fail. It's human nature. Yeah.
That's sad.
Everyone cheers for you on the way up, and a lot of people want to see you fall. It's, you could say it's sad, but it's actually human.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to see, because we're territorial creatures. It's hard for us to see someone doing something or having something that we don't have.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're trained to see that as inspiration,
Yeah.
you're going to see that as threat. You're going to see that as,
why do they have that and I don't? What have they done more than me?
What have they done more? What have they done? Oh, it's just because of this. Or it's just because they're that.
Oh, they're rich. They were brought up rich. They're doing
Yeah.
this. Like, why not? Why not? Let's just think about the steps they've done to achieve their goal.
And none of it is informed. That's the thing about hate, and it's coming from emotion, you see, straight back to that point. It's why emotions
drive everything.
They drive everything, but we don't have awareness behind them.
Yeah.
When you don't have awareness behind your emotions, it can be a catastrophe, because it really does shape your world. Our emotions shape our meaning, shape our world. And if you're not aware of what your emotions are doing, and you're creating an entire world around that, Jesus, it could be a world that you don't really want.
Yeah.
And that's, for a lot of people, what it's like. And the last part about social media is the validation. So as humans, we crave validation.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to be understood, and we want to be validated. Yeah. And we want to feel like we matter. But unfortunately, not a lot of us know how to do that internally. So we seek it externally. From strangers. Yeah. We seek it externally. Maybe our parents didn't tell us we were good enough, or whatever the case may be. We go external. We look for it externally from the pictures we post, or whatever. Problem with that is, when you seek something to lift you up externally, it can also crush you. Just as quickly. So seeking that internal validation is another reason why. Sorry, I'm looping it all back to your question. Another reason why we talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you talk to me, and you show me parts of yourself that you deem to be really shameful and really painful, and I can validate that for you and really deeply understand it, and then in your worst form, you feel held and understood.
You've done your job.
Then all of a sudden, you're not going to need as much external validation, because if someone's held you at your worst, then you can hold yourself at your worst. Yeah. That's the whole point of counseling. It's a relational tool. So, sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant here.
No, I like to hear it. I've never seen a therapist. It's so interesting to hear these, because it makes me think, I need to see a therapist.
Yeah. So generally, a relationship has caused the damage. So it's through relationship that we heal the damage.
Oh, So generally, a relationship has caused the damage of why you're feeling like this. Like any relationship.
It can be a relationship with yourself.
Really?
A relationship with someone else, your parents, a relationship with your school, a teacher.
From any age.
From any age, a relationship with you. Everything is a relationship, by the way.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's not a relationship.
Yeah, that's
so it's
true.
actually through the mirror of a relationship like this where the healing can come through. So my job is to not feed back to you everything that you've experienced in your world. Say if you're used to being criticized and told you're X, Y, and Z, my job is to make sure I don't fall into that trap.
Yeah.
And give you a sense of a different way of seeing the world. And once I can do that and you trust that, then you take that out into the world and you feel validated. And so rather than looking for it externally every minute of every day, and every time you get uncomfortable, you jump online, jump on your phone,
scroll,
because I don't know how to sit with
It's
what's
so
going on.
unhealthy, isn't it?
No, you can actually take 5 seconds and go, oh,
yeah, okay.
that's right, I've done the work, I'm okay, this feeling is okay. How can I have a relationship with this feeling right now? What can I do with it? You hear all the shit about, just go for a walk, just take your dog for a walk, just do this,
Is it
just
true?
do that.
Because my mum used to say that. She goes, get off your phone and get some fresh air.
It's all true, but if you don't do it with intention, it's useless.
Oh, okay.
Right? You need to do it with intention because
Yeah.
a walk can be just as distracting
Yeah.
as being on your phone.
Yeah, totally.
But if you do it with intention, meaning speak to the feeling, get to know the feeling.
Bitch, why are you making me feel like this?
Yeah.
Why am I leaving clubs
Great.
because I think someone spiked my drink?
Great question. Take the bitch part out of it, so don't beat yourself up for it, but ask the question.
Yeah.
What reason, what proof is there that what I think is happening is actually happening?
Yeah, okay.
What are you trying to protect me from?
Interesting.
What are you trying to warn me of?
Okay, so I have a question here.
Go.
Why is it whenever I fight with my husband, or argue, not fight, but I just go into my room and close the door? Like I physically, if I fight, I start crying. Like as soon as I say something, my emotions take over. So I would rather go into my room and close the door because that's the only way I don't say something. If I stay out there, I'll say the most outrageous thing. I'm like, I've hated you since 2016. And you'll be like, what the fuck? Like,
and you don't mean it.
And I don't mean it. Like
Yeah.
I say the most outrageous things because I feel like that's the only way I can be heard is to be outrageous. And I'm such a hot-headed bitch because I don't mean it. So then I'm like, okay, I just need to go into my room and close the door. Otherwise, I'm going to say something about his dog. You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say something else.
About his dick. That
I'm
too.
sorry.
That too.
Sorry,
you know
I
what?
shouldn't
I've
have
probably
sworn.
said that too. Like, do you know what I
shouldn't
mean?
have sworn,
I used to describe myself as a hot-headed psycho, but I think it's actually deeper than that. I think something's wrong with me. Not actually, but you know what I mean? Tell me I'm not that crazy.
No, nothing's wrong with you.
Okay,
You're having a human experience. So by definition, nothing's wrong with you.
Yes.
You're having, at the risk of repeating myself, you're having a human experience that you aren't equipped to manage.
Okay.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means you're not capable of managing
my
yourself
emotions
in that moment. And you said something really, really interesting before. You said, I feel like I'm never heard.
Do you know why?
I feel like I don't get listened to or I'm never heard. One of the two. Yeah.
It's because I'm the youngest of 5 kids. And I think, thanks Mum and Dad for having me last. I think that's why I was never heard. And then I guess I was rebellious. That was kind of my little gateway. I was always getting in trouble and sneaking out and doing things and wagging school because I'm like, yes, I'm getting attention finally. But then I get grounded. Like it was just like a hamster wheel of like, I'm never being heard. I'm the youngest. I always had to go to my brothers and sisters' sports games and always had to do things last.
Yeah.
My mum would always say I'd get away with blue murder, but I think that is actually a cover-up. I never did because I was never given the opportunity. I was always last.
Yeah. No, actually what you did say was, I feel like unless I'm hot-headed, I don't get heard.
Yes.
So it's the same as saying, unless I rebel, I don't get heard.
God, that's so true. And
Unless
my husband says it to me all the time. He goes, it's because the youngest of 5 kids, because when people change plans on me as well, I go crazy because I'm like, That's probably another kettle of fish. But he thinks it's because I'm the youngest. I was never heard. I never got to do things my own way because I just had to go along with it. You're from a big family. You just had to kind of do what everyone else was doing. Is that why I am the way I am today?
Like being dismissed?
Yeah. My emotions were dismissed. It's like, not yet, India. We're just doing this. As a big family, you don't really have time just to focus on you. There's all these other kids. It's like, go to your room. You're fine. You're fine. Just go for a walk, get some fresh air, put down your phone.
So in those moments with your husband, you're literally fighting for your life.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you're fighting.
And then I say crazy things.
Yeah, that's why there's nothing wrong with you. You're just not aware in that moment of how to manage yourself in a different way. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fighting for your life. You're using a blueprint from a different time to manage a situation where it's not appropriate or it's not applicable anymore. Yeah. It doesn't work anymore. You're an adult.
Yeah, and that's what And do you think by going to your room and closing the door is the better thing to do? I mean, obviously the better thing to do is communicating and talking about your feelings, but I genuinely find that so hard.
So I'm going to sound like a broken record. You asked me the first question, which was why talking. I find it.
You're telling me I need therapy. I need therapy.
Learning how to talk. Learning how to talk through emotional states. Yeah. Learning how to manage. It's a skill. It's like learning a sport. It's like learning anything. It's a skill. Learning how to manage. So like I said to you before, sitting down in this chair, I was anxious as hell.
Yeah. You're going well.
But again, I know how to manage that state.
Yeah.
So I can have a conversation with that feeling. I can dissipate it and move through it and still communicate. But if you've never been shown what that looks like, how to do it, if you've never, again, because you're being dismissed all the time, you're probably feeling like you're not going to get hurt. So what's the point in talking? So why do people talk?
Yeah.
Why do people talk?
Stop it.
Right? So why do people talk? That's what you said to me.
This is why. But it's interesting because I'm a mum of 3, right? So I have a 3-year-old, and obviously 2 to 3 to 4, they go through those big emotions where they have tantrums and they can't regulate their emotions. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, how the fuck am I meant to teach you how to regulate your emotions when I can't even regulate mine? And for me, that's so hard because I'm like, come on, deep breaths. It's okay. Like, it's okay to feel like this. But I'm like, why can't I tell myself that?
That's a great question.
Like, I'm telling my 3-year-old son, it's fine, it's okay. Like, I talk you through. It's okay to be frustrated. Mommy and daddy get frustrated. This is totally normal. You can go to your room, cool down. Meanwhile, I tell my husband I hate him since like 2012 when I didn't even know him. I say all these outrageous things that I don't mean. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to educate and teach my children how to regulate their emotions when I can't even do that. So how do you think that affects children with parents who can't regulate their emotions? Do you think they're going to come out a bit wacky?
It's great advice, by the way, that you're giving them.
Thank you. But why can't I take it on?
And that's the thing about advice. Normally we give it. Normally advice is given when we're not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's great advice, and most advice given is actually better served for ourselves.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's better served for ourselves. So when you catch yourself giving advice,
I should be like,
listen really carefully for who it's really for. And most times what you're doing is you're offering advice for what you would do. For what you would do.
Yeah.
But don't do majority of the time. So I used to play this game when I would do lectures, and I would get everybody to write down a significant problem that they're dealing with that they can't quite work out at the moment. And no one's going to know it's you. Write it down. So we'd fold that piece of paper up and I'd shuffle them around and I'd redistribute them to the class. And everyone in the class had to write down a piece of advice that they would give that person, having not read that person's problem. Yeah. And they're like, well, how do I give advice for something that I haven't read? Oh. Just bear with me. Just lean into it. Yeah. Hold the piece of paper. Use your intuition. Write something down. And so they would write something down and we'd fold the paper over again and we'd redistribute it. And each problem would have 5 different bits of advice on there. And then we'd open it up. A stranger would read out your problem. Yeah. And then underneath it would have 5 different bits of advice. And all the advice was relevant for the problem. But all the advice that the people wrote, I then asked them to write the things that they wrote for other people on a page for themselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And everything you wrote for that person, yes, it's applicable, but have a look at what you've written down. Does that apply to you? And you hear a pin drop. Now, how much of that are you actually doing? You can hear a pin drop. And do you know what the best part was when someone actually wrote a bit of advice for their own problem because they didn't know it was that paper.
Oh,
they'd have a folder and they'd write something on it.
Oh, that's so funny.
But it was their problem.
Yeah, but no one ever takes their own.
No one ever takes their own advice. So getting back to your question about...
Am I the problem?
What was... No, am I the problem? No, I think you said something about giving advice to kids, but we can't do it.
Yes, we can never take it ourselves.
We can never take it ourselves. I mean, there's your answer.
Yeah, that's so true.
The answer's in the question.
Oh my gosh. You're really basically trying to tell me that I need the help. Is there any way, right?
Am I? Am I telling you that you
Well,
need
what
the help?
I'm picking up from what you're putting down is it's really good to talk to someone. And so what would really happen if you just, me, for example, I know I have social anxiety. Despite what my mum says, she says I'm fine, just get off my phone and to go for a walk and get some fresh air, which she's not wrong. I do understand, like what you said, you have to walk with intention, do things with intention. But what would happen if I just kept going through life like this? Would my relationship eventually end? You know, like would my...
Potentially.
Like things like that. Is that what happens if you don't get help for your anxiety?
I mean, there's only so many times you can bite someone's head off and tell them, make disparaging remarks about their dog.
Okay, I don't actually, but you know what I mean. Like it'll be about
before they say, hey,
enough's enough.
Enough's enough. I don't
deserve this.
Well, I didn't sign up to get treated.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up to get treated like this, or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't want this anymore. This is miserable. And like I said to you before, most people would stay for a length of time.
Yeah.
Because either they feel like they have to, there are kids involved or whatever. But everyone reaches a breaking point, like I said to you before, where the pain of staying is far more than the fear of the unknown and changing and leaving.
Oh, wow.
So, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not just relationships. That could be anything, really. If someone had anxiety and didn't get it fixed, it could... I guess it could just tarnish relationships. It could break them. It could affect... I guess everything's a relationship, like you said.
Everything's a relationship. One that you're having with yourself mostly.
Yeah.
And everything else is a projection out, Indy. So the relationship you're having with yourself and your anxiety and that feeling of being dismissed and not heard and being brushed to the side and just being made to tag along just because. And it doesn't matter what you say, Indy. It doesn't matter what you feel, Indy. There's 4 more others I've got to attend to.
Yeah.
And just shut up and hurry
just
up.
join. Get in the car. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. And unless you light a fire, you're not going to get heard.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah?
Yeah, wow.
So maybe there's something around that in your social interactions where there's something about a crowd that makes you feel or that triggers something from that point in life. I don't know. That would be something that you'd need to...
but it's all kind of connected what you would chat to a therapist about.
Yeah.
So therapists aren't as scary as I really thought. They're basically like your bestie, but you don't take sides. You just listen.
It's not the therapist that's scary.
It's the first step. I know, that's why I have not seen a therapist.
Not even that.
It's admitting that something's wrong with you?
You're projecting out your own fear and you're placing it onto that person. You're scared of what you might find. You're scared of...
That's so true.
Yeah. Because you've said it 1,000 times. I don't want to talk. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to...
I said, good luck trying to make me cry.
Good
It's not coming out. It's all the way down there. You're not bringing this out of me.
Exactly. So it's not the practitioner that's
scary.
That's scary. It's you.
It's me. Why do people feel like this?
But why do you feel like that?
I don't know.
Feel like what?
Like that I can't talk and communicate with...
Well, you're the perfect person to ask because you feel like that.
But I don't know why I feel like that.
Yes, you do. You explained it to me.
No, but why? You would think because talking comes so naturally to people. So why can't you just talk about your feelings to someone? Why is that so hard for so many people to do?
Oh, that's a great question. Because we've built up so many masks and we've built up so many defense systems and we've built up so many layers.
Are we afraid of being rejected?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Being rejected and being abandoned and actually validating what we kind of already think about ourselves, and that is we're not enough. We're not worth it. And if I really show you who I am,
You'll hate me.
You'll hate my guts, and you will leave, and you won't want anything to do with me.
Yeah.
And what's funny is in relationships, we'll protect that at all costs because we don't want the person to leave. But the way we end up behaving to protect that version of us forces the person to leave.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting.
Isn't that funny? And which then kind of
it's like a domino effect.
A domino effect, which then validates that self-belief of, I see, I'm not worth it. See, I was right not to trust you. See?
Oh my God, yes. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'll never find someone that loves me. But it's actually babe, if you fixed your first problem, then maybe they'll hang around.
So I don't want to be blasé about it. It is hard.
Yeah.
Sitting down with someone and making a commitment to open yourself up and learn about yourself is hard. Again, from the age of 7, our worlds are built, and then we just go on building creative adjustment after creative adjustment around our feelings and what we think the world's bringing to us, and then we get to our teens, into our 20s, and then the world is just what it is, and the feelings are just what they are, and they're our truth, and they're our reality. And why it's so scary is a lot of people don't want to give that up, because if I give that up, then who am I?
Yeah, that's so true.
So the fear of loss is another big one. If I'm not Indy who lights fires,
then
who am I?
Indy that drowns.
Then who am I? I'm Indy that drowns.
Literally.
And that's not necessarily the case, but that's how you feel.
Yeah.
So alongside,
I would be such a zen, calm person if I wasn't Indy that light fires.
So the problem with giving someone advice and strategy too quickly is you're not acknowledging the loss of that other person that's carried them through for so long. So you kind of got to validate that alongside building this. So it's a parallel work.
Yeah.
So just giving you advice shames the Indy that's lit fires for 20 years.
Yeah.
Why would we shame her? She's literally the reason why you're still alive.
Yeah.
Imagine you didn't light fires. Imagine you didn't run amok.
I'd be so boring.
Well, that or maybe something worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah? Maybe something worse.
Yes, you kind of have to walk together, like Mother Teresa and the sidekick.
Pretty much. She once upon a time was your savior. She saved your life.
Yeah.
She creatively adjusted to the being dismissed and made sure you were heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't listen to me, well, I'm just going to muck up at school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to
wag.
This.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And you'll listen to me then.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah. Now, this part of you was so helpful for so long. No good me just coming in and saying, well, don't do that. Here, take these pills. Here, do this homework. Here, you're now considered to be dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Which is a really damaging word, telling someone they're dysfunctional. That's why when you said there's something wrong with me, actually there's not.
Yeah.
You're just experiencing part of the human condition, but you haven't been trained on how to get through it. There's actually nothing wrong with you. That's why talking
helps
so much.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And I think a lot of people who do spend time for themselves and their well-being, like my husband, for example, he can meditate, he can be in his own silence, he can be in his own thoughts. And he's like, why don't you just try it? I'm like, nah, could not be in my own silence. I have so much head noise.
You can't.
I have like music. I have like jazz music, like hotel music playing in my head 24/7.
Discordant jazz.
Is that what it, that's what it is.
Yeah,
like I'll be sitting there and I'll have jazz music. Like there may as well be like a mariachi band, whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
It's just never ending. Yeah. So it's really great advice you've given, because it's really shown me that I think taking that first step to get help is, or even just acknowledging that you need it. Because someone can tell you, your husband, your partner, your friend, your girlfriend can tell you 100 times that maybe you should go see someone, maybe you should go chat to someone, but you won't take it on until you kind of realize that, okay.
Yeah, you won't take it on. All you'll hear is the criticism.
Yeah, it's like, what? No, like me for who I am.
Yeah, love me for who I am, adapt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that first step is super daunting, and it's nice to hear that that's the hardest thing for everyone, to take that first step.
It really is. There's 90% of the work is showing up. 10% is what you do when you get there.
Yeah.
But 90% of it is, and that quote's not mine, that's from my teachers.
Yeah.
That 90% of the work is
mental.
getting this to let you get to the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does a lot of the work.
To put down the barriers and
Yep.
to know that you're not there to judge me and the doctor's not there to judge you.
Nope.
Getting a mental health plan isn't like embarrassing. It's like actually cool to get help.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to get help. I'd rather get help than be a psycho my whole life.
It's cool to get help.
Yeah.
Let's make that
a trend.
Let's make that a
hashtag,
trend. Can we
it's
hashtag
cool
that?
to get help.
It's cool to get help.
Yeah, wow.
Everyone, and I can't emphasize this enough.
Yeah.
Where's the camera? Everyone needs help. No one is self-made. Anyone who's anyone in this world has gotten help. Sometimes you just don't know it.
Yeah.
And it's equal for when you're not in a good place. You know, it's okay to get help. Everyone needs it. And it's what builds communities. And it's actually what builds good mental health.
Yeah.
Courage actually comes from asking for help.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when we're trained to go it alone because that's seen to be courageous, well, it's actually not if you lose all your relationships and you end up hurting your children.
Yeah.
There's no real courage in that. Courage is moving into what's scary.
Yeah.
And doing it anyway. Let's make getting help cool. Let's do it.
And it's okay not to feel okay. Like there's such a stigma around like, why are you feeling like this? You shouldn't be feeling like this. You've got the world in your hands. You know, you've got this, you got that. Why are you even feeling like this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a criticism I hear a lot of people that are really successful.
Yeah.
What have you got to feel anxious about?
Yeah.
Your life is perfect.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's what I show you, right?
Yeah, I'd swap that in a heartbeat. You're just putting it on, or you
just want
fuck
attention.
off. You just want attention. Yeah.
Attention-seeking whore. I'm kidding.
Have you heard that?
I hear a lot, like, why are you complaining? You have it so, why I have it, I have it worse off. I'm a single mum. I have this. I can't even do this because I've got 4 kids and this and that. And I'm like, okay, just because you feel like that, you can't invalidate someone else's feelings. Like everyone has their own struggles. And I think that's really important for people to kind of see. Just because your struggle may be bigger, this could be the biggest struggle for someone else in their life right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because everyone tries to compare their struggles. No, that's not cool.
Well, no, it's not. It's not cool. So
it's not cool.
It's not cool.
Thank you. I like that you're picking up on these Gen Z terms.
Yeah. It's
not cool.
It's not cool. It's not a vibe. Is that still a thing? Do people still say it's not a vibe?
It's not a vibe.
It's not a vibe. Have we moved on from that?
No, we're still there. We're still in that era.
There. It's not a vibe.
Yes, we're still there.
We're still there.
But thank you. That was so informative. That was amazing.
Okay.
I'm so glad you didn't make me cry.
That's okay.
You'd need a few therapy sessions out of me.
Yeah. So
I'm kidding.
So I'm going to do something with you now. No. But I'm just going to get you to.
Fine.
I'm going to get you to feed back to me.
Okay.
What you've heard so far, like what's standing out for you, just as a way of talking.
What's standing out for me the most would be that talking really does do wonders, because I have always thought, why would I get help? Because talking to someone is not going to fix it. But I think, like you said, have I ever felt completely understood or completely listened to in my life? And no, because whenever I try to talk to my husband, we have kids interrupting, and when I try to talk to my sister, she's going through a breakup or something like that. There's bigger issues in her world. So and when I try to talk to a girlfriend, they've got things going on that, they've got big issues in their life. So it's hard. So it's really important, and I've learned that talking really does wonders, that I'm not as messed up as I think I am. That a lot of people feel like this. It's human nature. You're not alone. Many people are going through these feelings, which is quite nice to hear, because you often think that I am alone. Like, what the hell? No one else is going through this. No one else is talking about this or showing their emotions online.
Yep.
So I think that's really important to talk about this. And in fact, that I have been feeling anxious my whole life, and nobody is spiking my drink. That is me being in fight or flight mode. Because I fully thought someone was drugging me this entire time.
Yeah.
And I would leave the venue. So
yeah. But also the way you interact with your husband when you get emotional.
Oh, yes. I tried to keep that one out. Yes.
Yeah.
I am the problem. I'm kidding. No, I think that is definitely a defense mechanism to what I've just grown up to learn. And I think it's something to focus on, because there's only so many times, like you said, someone can cop that.
Yeah.
And I know when I do it, I don't do it I don't mean it. I immediately regret it. It's like fire comes out of my mouth and it's like, you can't take it back.
Yeah.
You know that classic saying, it's like sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words will break.
Break your
Fuck,
bones,
is that
yeah.
the wrong one? But words will never hurt me? No.
Yeah.
Words will hurt. I think words are more lasting and they have a lasting effect on, it's like when growing up and some old chick down the street says you look fat, it always sticks with you. I think words are really important and you've got to be really careful how you deliver them, especially to the...
So that's another way of saying talking's important, right?
Okay, you win. Fine. The therapist wins. I knew you were going to win this conversation. Talking is important.
Because words hurt.
Yeah.
And the words that hurt the most, Indy, do you know which ones they are?
From your loved ones.
No.
Oh.
The words that hurt the most are the ones you say to yourself.
Yeah.
Those words hurt the most. And those are the ones we often don't hear.
Yeah.
They're just playing in the
That
background.
devil.
It's the devil. It's the
jazz
mariachi band.
music.
It's the jazz music. Yeah. It's the words. Words do hurt, and the ones
Yeah.
we say to ourselves.
Yeah,
And,
we're our own worst enemy.
So during our conversation, you've said at least 20 times,
say?
I'm a psycho, crazy, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Jokingly, but the
Yes.
body doesn't understand humor.
What? Doesn't
The body,
she?
she doesn't understand humor. The subconscious doesn't understand humor. The neuro-linguistic programming that we have hears your language and computes.
Oh my God.
So even
I'm
as a
so
joke,
sorry.
yeah, good. That's much better, actually. That's
Girlfriend.
much better.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
That's much better.
Sorry, body.
Calling yourself a psycho bitch, actually, it's funny, but it's not funny because it all
So
registers.
my body thinks I'm serious. Girlfriend, don't take that so seriously. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, if you repeat it enough,
you believe it. I know. Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
so
You're a wizard.
so I'm going to ask you the question.
No, don't.
Why is talking important?
Because talking to the right person is important. Not just talking to the right person because you feel heard and you feel seen and understood.
Bang.
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 Maybe I don't need therapy.
Bang. Bang. And also choosing the right person. We were
Yes.
talking about that before.
Yes.
Maybe that might be nice to spend just a
second on?
A second on.
So I did go see someone once.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call him a therapist. I went after I had my firstborn and I felt like I couldn't really grind with these new friends. Like it was like in the first 2 weeks. And I'm like, I don't know if they're my people. And he goes, go make some new friends. And I was like, sick advice. That's not what I was looking for. I was hoping you'd tell me to stick it out or, do something different with them or whatever. Because I'm like, I don't just want to give up this new friendship. Like, I really like these people. Like, is this internal feeling? Why am I? And he's like, just find new friends. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty hard to tell a 23-year-old mum that none of her friends have had kids. So like, where am I going to find them? Going to pull them out of my ass? Like, where do
Yeah.
I find new friends?
And that's the problem with advice. He just told you that,
Yeah.
that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or he or she, whatever,
Yeah.
gave you advice without actually getting to know you.
Yeah.
And once I get to know you, you'll create the advice. I won't need to do it. You know what to do.
Yeah.
We all know what to do.
Yeah, right.
And that's what talking does. Once we clarify exactly what your position is and break down the layers, you know deep down what you need to do. We all do. And the process of finding a good person is actually part of therapy. Being able to tell someone in a session, I actually don't think this is working for me. I don't feel like I'm getting what I need. I think I'm going to stop this. I think I'm going to stop this here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can turn into being in a relationship again where you're just pleasing the other person because you don't
Yeah.
want to disappoint them.
Yeah.
No, it's okay to go shopping.
Yeah, and look around for a good therapist.
Look around for someone that you vibe with. Look around for someone.
I vibe with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would fly to Melbourne just to chat to you.
Great. Amazing. Yeah. So how do you know that you vibe with me?
Just because you're so easy to talk to.
Yeah.
You're very easy and you're not telling me what to do. You're not saying, well, go find a new husband, one that you don't speak like that to. You're saying, okay, so why do you feel like this? And it's like the first step to make you feel more heard and seen and validated.
Yeah. You haven't stopped talking. And you said that you don't.
That I don't like to talk.
You don't
I
like
know
to
I
talk.
said that. Let's not keep talking about
No,
what
but
I
it's
said.
good. But I love bringing it back to
Yeah,
the
no,
initial thing.
Yeah.
And that's great. And so I think that is really important. Find that when you're looking for someone.
Yeah.
Someone that, how did you say, easy to talk to,
Easy to talk
makes you
to.
feel relaxed, isn't throwing advice at you after
Just
5
listening.
minutes.
You're a great listener.
Listening. Yeah. You can do so much.
You can do it. You can do it.
So much with listening carefully, which, trust me, takes a lot of years of practice.
Yeah.
To remove your filters, because we've got filters going, baby. Yeah.
You should see me under this makeup. I look rat shit.
Filters. Our listening is mired with personal filters.
Yeah.
So cleaning your filters, listening to what you're being told, not attaching your own story, and feeding that back through curiosity.
Yeah.
And shaping it and cleaning it until it's crystal clear. Mm-hmm. Can change someone's life really quickly.
Amazing. Wow, you are so amazing. Well, we have a few questions.
As are you. Yeah.
That not from me. I'm not asking you anymore because you're not making me cry. But the callers have called in to ask a few questions to you, to me. So let's take it away with the vet. Let's take it away.
Hey, Andy, just got a question. How did you talk to your parents about your troubles when you were younger? And if you didn't, how do you think you're going to do that for your kids?
That's a great question, because I actually never spoke to my parents about my troubles or how I was feeling, because I didn't know what those feelings were. I wasn't educated in that those feelings were anxiety, or why you're sad, or you're feeling isolated, or this. I just kind of sucked it up. And I do remember I wrote into like a email, like not a helpline, but it was like an email thing, being like, why am I feeling like this? I don't think I ever got a response, actually. Actually, that's so rude. They never responded to me. 12 years on, or no, wait, how old am I? 26. But yeah, I don't think I ever spoke to my parents about these feelings, but I definitely, as a mum, want to be that mum that their child can come to and tell her anything. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be best friends. I obviously want to have that parent relationship still, but I want I want them to feel comfortable. They can tell me anything. It doesn't matter if they're, drunk or on the side of the road, or they've messed up, or they've done something. I want them to feel everything's okay. I'm going to help you. I'm older. I'm wiser. I just want them to feel like everything's okay. And I think it's important to kind of have that relationship, because you want your kids to trust you, and you want them to know that, like, you can come to them any time of the night, babe. I'll pick you up. I'll take you to McDonald's drive-thru, and we'll go talk about what this boy did, and I'll go bash him. I'm kidding. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I think that's important. Do you think that's important?
I think it's critical. Yeah. But what I think is more critical is how parents look after themselves. Yeah. Because it's trickled down, right?
Yeah.
A lot of our kids' sense of the world comes from how they see their parents behaving, what they see their parents doing.
Yeah.
And if what they're being told doesn't marry up to what they're being shown,
that's so true.
That can create a mistrust. And go on.
No, that's so true. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. So to a lot of parents out there, we go ass backwards. So kids come first. No.
Oh.
No. No. Parents come first.
Okay, if you fill your cup up first.
Who looks after the kids?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
What happens if one of you goes down? Indy, what happens if you go down?
Don't say that. That's one of my biggest fears.
Okay, good. So that's why looking after yourself is so important.
Yeah.
So it's actually top subsystem first, mum, dad first. Dad walks in, mum and dad greet first.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, it's always this.
Hook up.
This here.
Have sex in the kitchen? Maybe.
Well, maybe not in front of the kids. I wouldn't have thought that was. I don't know. Is that a?
That might create more issues for them.
Is that a vibe? I don't think that's a vibe yet.
Vibe check.
Vibe check. No, does it pass the pub test? No, I don't think so. But the kids see.
Yes, they
what
see
you're
the
doing,
interaction.
or what you say to your kids means far less than what you show them, because they don't understand yet the power of words. But we're great apes essentially, and so we mimic. And if you get to a point where what you're showing them isn't what you're saying to them, and it doesn't add up, it builds a massive mistrust.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you want is congruency, authenticity. You want what you say to match up with what you do. So you can't tell your kids, it's okay, come to mum, tell me everything. And then, you know, in the kitchen you hear, well, I'm not fucking talking to you. I'm not telling you anything. Yeah? Yeah, look at your dog. It's shit. They will pick
Poor
up on...
dog.
Yeah, poor dog. What did the dog ever do? The kids will pick up on that. They'll pick up on your mannerisms. So a big part of parenting is actually the parents.
Interesting.
Which is very much overlooked. And, you know, a lot of people have kids to avoid themselves. A lot of people have kids for very, very different reasons. And so they go headfirst into the child.
Yeah, wow.
They don't take any care of themselves. And
it's never good.
it's not good.
It's never a good outcome.
It's not good, for lack of a better term. Look after yourself. Look after your marriage. Look after your relationship first. Pour your own cup for both of you. Pour the cup back into the relationship. Yeah.
Have sex.
Grow up. Yeah. Have good sex.
Wild
often,
sex.
Often.
Like bathrooms, McDonald's bathrooms.
Often. Yeah. Get crazy. Get wild. Remember why you fell in love with each other and go out and do some of that. Your kids will be fine. In fact, your guilt around not putting your kids first has got nothing to do with your kids.
Yeah.
And it's got everything to do with your own guilt and shame around what you don't want to face in your own life.
Oh, interesting.
So go and
have sex.
And work on that.
Have the sex. Have the sex.
Have the sex.
Have the wild sex.
Have the wild one.
Bring the toys in, the ropes, everything.
Bring the toys, ropes, the candle
candles,
wax.
the lube.
Yeah, the lube.
Get wild.
Got to bring the lube. That's 100%.
Question number 2.
Question number 2. This is going sideways.
Hey, Indy, I've got a question for you. What's your biggest fear in life?
Oh, my biggest fear. That's a good question. I have a few fears depending on how shallow or deep they are. My biggest fear would probably be leaving my kids behind. Is that a common fear? Mm-hmm. Like, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
That's quite common with parents?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, I don't know, I'm so scared of dying. Like, I always try to think about, like, what a coffin would look like, which is so random. But, like, oh, my God, the fear, and I suffer from claustrophobia. Like, I can't be claustrophobic. If there's a blanket on my head, I can't. So the thought of, like, laying in a coffin as well fucking gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't. So, and just dying and leaving my kids behind. Like, I am their number one person next to my husband. He's equal, yes.
Yes.
But I am the number one person to them in my eyes. So I'm like, I can't leave you behind.
Yeah. Another great reason why your kids come second to making sure that your relationship with your husband is absolutely at the top. Worked on, And if you're going back and forwards and you're in this cycle where you're arguing and you're doing this, they're looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, you know, you're not your best self. Your mental health may suffer. You may have a breakdown and you might hit the deck. And once you hit the deck, who's looking after your kids?
Yeah.
So yeah. But death is death anxiety is very real.
Yeah.
Yeah, very real. Everything we build is around the avoidance of dying.
So scary.
Our whole reality is around avoiding dying. That's why we do the things we do, like light fires, wag school, and all that stuff, is to avoid abandonment, which leads to death.
Oh, wow. I have many, many problems.
Last question.
Thank fuck. Get me out of here.
Hi, Andy. I love your TikTok and I love how vibrant and happy you always are. I have suffered from body image issues in the past, and I'm just wondering, do you ever have any negative thoughts about your body, or have you suffered as well? You're so happy and vibrant on TikTok. I was just wondering if you feel the pressure.
I definitely feel the pressure, and that is a great question, because I definitely feel like some days I put on a show. I definitely hide that. And I often don't post when I'm feeling down in the dumps, because I try not spread that negativity. Because I don't want to get on and be like, guys, I feel fucking shit. I'm so anxious. I hate myself today. Like, I don't want to get on and say that, because I just think I know that would probably do good for a lot of people that follow me, and they want to see that and they want to feel that from me. But I'm like, I I can't even open up to a therapist. Like, you think I'm going to open up to you online? But I am happy a lot of the time, but I do sometimes put on that happy face. And I think a lot of people and personalities, influencers, put on that happy face. They're not as happy as they seem, despite giving a lot of free things and taken on events and brand trips and flown around the world or whatever it is. They're not as happy as you think they are because they are being judged by hundreds and thousands of people. They have so many opinions. They're constantly comparing themselves to other people online. For me, especially after having kids, there's a lot of society pressure to bounce back. I feel that, I'm like, I need to bounce back. I need to get back to where I am before, because otherwise people are going to comment. They're going to judge me. They're going to ask how old my baby is, then do the maths and be like, if the baby's 10 weeks, why are you still looking like you're halfway pregnant? I don't understand. And there's definitely those societal pressures that it's put on. I think women especially have those pressures to bounce back, to look a certain way. But yeah, I definitely think some days, I definitely know some days I put on this image that I am happy and some people, I feel like my longtime followers can see through it.
Oh, interesting. What about the body image stuff? How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with the body image?
Do you have it? I think part of the question was
do I have it? Yeah. I definitely do have it. I definitely, after having kids, I do have it. I look at my body and I'm like, I did this, I had this beautiful, tight body as a 23-year-old, and then I've had 3 kids in 3 years, and it's obviously changed and it's saggy. My belly button sags, and I'm like, okay, what doctor's going to fix that for me? Like, I'm definitely have those body image issues, but I try and bury them because I'm like, this is normal. Everyone feels like this, and everyone compares, and I've got veins and I have hernias and I have popping things coming out everywhere. But yeah, I definitely struggle with body image, but I think it's important to know that a lot of other women do. I thought it's how we're wired. Maybe not. Maybe not. Possibly.
That I can't say because I'm not a woman, so I don't know. But I think your advice is really nice. Your comment's nice about the fact that you're not alone. Everybody.
Even the people you look up to and aspire to and think have this perfect life, they all suffer. They just don't really show it. And I think it is, I guess, to be relatable, and you want to show it so people know they're not alone. But I think in a way I protect myself because if I show that, I show everything. I have nothing private. You guys can judge every little bit of me. My hair, my eyes, my scars, my mental health. Like, if you're judging my mental health, what else do I have? My brain, my big brain. You guys judge that too.
I've worked with a lot of girls that have had body dysmorphia, eating disorders, things of that nature, and sometimes we can project that onto the body because it's the only thing that we feel we can control. And judge. And have any effect over because this thing's just running at a million miles an hour. So that would be something that I would add is that the body is doing its job. It's doing its job.
We have amazing bodies.
We have the most incredible bodies. It knows what to do and it knows what it's doing. It's this thing up here that's running wild. The body is incredible.
Wow.
It truly is incredible. But this thing's not always our best friend. And when it runs wild...
she's a wild thing in there.
Yeah. When
she's
it runs
an animal.
Wild, when that wild horse gets out of the stable...
she's a wild horse.
Yeah, she's a wild horse. That thing can create all sorts of trouble. And sometimes we feel like body image and what we look like physically is the only thing
we can control.
We can control, and that can be paralyzing for a lot of people.
Yeah, wow, totally. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining Sleep Deprived, Solomon. I have learnt that I need to call a therapist when I get home. I have learned that I am the issue. I'm kidding. No, I've actually learned a lot. I've learned so much about talking really does help, and it's cool to get help.
It's cool to get help.
We should start that hashtag.
Let's do it.
It is cool.
It's cool.
Like, I'm going to go get a therapist online. Now, you know what? I might just fly to Melbourne. But thank you so much. I appreciate your wisdom. You are a wizard.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you so much. Bye.